All right. I know that you have probably had all the conversations around goal setting, maybe read some books. Goal setting is important, and we cannot avoid talking about goal setting, working on our ability to set and achieve goals. However, I do think sometimes the conversations around goal setting get repetitive or old or stale. And I'm really excited today to talk about goal setting from a little bit of a different angle, a little bit more casual, and really share with you what has changed the game for me, not only in achieving goals, but what I have seen across the board in the industry in people who enjoy the process of setting goals, which makes you more likely to achieve them. And we can read all the books, we can learn all the things, but there's so much about goal setting that is very simple and very much a thing that we can control and we can get better at and we can do our own way. You guys know here at the Messy Success Podcast, we are not about society norms. We are not about staying inside the lines. We're about taking things like rules and systems and goal settings and processes and making them work for our wildly creative hearts. So I'm really excited to share this. And you guys know we have been promoting my goal setting manifestation journal planner. Call it what you will. It's an undated journal calendar. And you can go grab yours at elizabethhenson.co/planner, or you can head over to our shop if you want to buy it directly from me, elizabethhenson.co/shop. Either way is amazing and helps my small business. But if you want to kind of see the other stuff we got going on, Black Friday promotions, sales, all the things happening this November and holiday season, and you want to purchase something for your family and support my small business, you can head over to elizabethhenson.co/shop. And this planner, I'll talk about it a little bit in the episode, is super helpful when it comes to journaling and setting goals in this way. So go grab yours and let's get started. Welcome back to the Messy Success Podcast. I'm your host, Elizabeth Henson. I help creative business owners and artists build communities around your brand so that business is easy and profitable. When you stay in action, yes, I mean even messy action, only good things happen. We are always learning, and when we can get just as excited about the lessons as the results, magic happens. I've helped million-dollar companies with their marketing, but my mission in this world is to help you step into the best possible version of yourself so you can create your dream business too. We believe in community and people over strategies and tactics. Our theme here at the Messy Success Podcast is the 1% adventure, where we're focusing on getting 1% better every single day. I want you to color outside the lines and embrace the messy journey to take daily action towards your goals. If you've noticed a plateau in your business, we've created a very quick quiz where you can find out your next best move. Head over to elizabethhenson.co/next to find out. Now let's get started. All right. Are you guys ready to talk about goal setting? You're like, blah, goal setting. I wonder if you even chose this episode, to be honest. But before we dive in, you know that this would not be an episode of the Messy Success Podcast if I didn't share some crazy messy success behind the scenes. And this episode is even more timely because I am running on fumes. Between Gracie's birthday, Anthony had some kind of crazy episode last night. I've had a head cold. Like, we have just been nonstop in the Henson house, which is pretty rare. Like, you guys know that I have a pretty cushy schedule, But October, we just have multiple family birthdays, Halloween, all the things. So I'm running on fumes. I had every reason not to do my content today. And we're doing double content today. And I got to do it. I got to do it because it will throw off my entire, business for 2 weeks if I don't get this done in a timely manner. I'm not going to say like, oh my God, if I don't get it done today, everything's going to fall apart. That's not true. But as far as managing my calendar, this was really the best time. And I love kind of building that integrity with myself and really sticking to my plans. And it doesn't always have to be perfect, like these can be really short and sweet episodes. So I gave myself a pep talk. Mark took Anthony out because Anthony's home today. And I said, okay, I can do this. I can record 2 10-minute episodes. They don't all have to be long. I love a good short podcast episode. I don't know about y'all, but sometimes I will intentionally listen to podcast episodes because they're short, less than 30 minutes or less than 15 minutes, whatever time frame I may have. So there's a benefit to saying, you know what, Liz, you can do this and you can keep it really short and sweet and still provide value for people, still keep your word on what you were going to get done today, still keep your team on track so that you're not jamming them up with all these crazy last minute deadlines. And that's going to get you closer to those long-term goals. So let's talk about goal setting, because what's crazy is that goal setting is actually very little to do with the goal itself. And it has everything to do with who you need to become and what characteristics you need to take on to achieve or get closer to that goal, right? So just to use this as an example, I didn't set a goal that the goal isn't to record every single Monday. The goal is to create content every single week. And now we're creating the podcast and the YouTube video side by side. And, the goal is to just accomplish that every single week so that, we are reaching more people, helping more people. And you can put measurables behind that. And we do for a lot of things. But for me, I just said, I really want to become more consistent with this for the sake of my team, for the sake of putting out good content and helping more people. And I time blocked every single Monday, 2 hours to do nothing but content creation. And if the kids are out of school a following Monday, then we're going to do double. So this is a double because the kids are out of school on the 11th. So I was part of achieving that. It's not just doing it and forcing myself to do it. This is where the lines get so blurred when it comes to goal setting, is all of that like habit changing and forcing. It's like you can't be on a diet for the rest of your life if your goal is to lose weight, right? You can achieve goals, but you're not going to become somebody different where those goals are easy to achieve by forcing and restricting and putting yourself in a box, right? So this challenge, even as simple as just recording these pieces of content for me, was not about forcing myself to do it. I got to do it because I said I would, and that's the goal. It has nothing to do with that. And it has everything to do with me looking in the mirror and saying, the business owner that I want to become, the business owner that I want to be for my team, the people that I want to help, that best version of myself, what would she do today? How would she react in this situation? And my answer to that, coming from that best version of myself, was she would still do it. She's just going to make it a little bit easier on herself. And, thankfully my husband was like super on board. I didn't even have to ask. And he's already like, I'll take Anthony out for a little bit. He probably saw on our brand new Skylight calendar that I had a content recording day. So he's like, let me take Anthony out for a little bit and give her some space because Anthony's homesick, like I said. And I'm like, I can do this. He's going to be gone for an hour, maybe 2. I can record 2-minute episodes. I can make this light and easy. It doesn't have to be fancy. It just has to provide value and be helpful and stick to my commitments. And I got really excited about that. I got really excited about the fact that I can have a hard night, I can be tired, and I can still be this version of myself that I'm working towards. I can practice being that version of myself. And that gets me excited. And I've done the same thing with my health journey. I used the example of a diet. And, when I'm kind of like wishy-washy and up and down with my choices, I just say like, what would like the fittest and healthiest version of me do in this scenario? What would she do? And I kind of just get really present to that feeling and that version of myself. I'm like, oh, she's not feeling good. She'd probably at least still take a 2-mile walk. I could do that and not feel drained. In fact, that might feel energizing. It's okay if we don't do the most extreme version every day, right? Like if I was to say I'm going to run every single day that I say I'm going to run, no matter what, that's forcing. But if it's, I'm going to run the days that I feel really, really good, and when it comes naturally, and then the days that I don't physically feel like running is the best choice for my body, rather than back out completely, I'm going to ask myself those questions. Well, what could I do that would still move me closer to this end goal? Oh, I can walk for 2 miles, 4 miles. I've researched this. It's actually just as good for you as running. In fact, it can help your running. Walking days are great. And to me, it's like, this is the same thing. This is just a walking content day instead of a sprint content day. And the results are going to be the same. The results are going to be the same. I'm going to be achieving that goal and becoming the person who I need to become, where those goals are now easy. My fitness goals are getting easier because of who I'm becoming as I'm working through them. Does that make sense? Whereas if we are just forcing ourselves to check a box, it's not going to last because we're not taking on new characteristics. And that's why I believe in accountability and habits in the short term. And yes, they're so important. But just because we're anchoring something to, like if I anchor journaling to drinking my coffee, am I really becoming a different person or am I forcing it? Could be both, right? That was kind of a minimal example. But am I truly becoming the next best version of myself to achieve goals? Or am I forcing it? And one of the phrases you will rarely hear me say is just give yourself grace. I actually find that phrase a little bit cringe, only because it's so overused in giving ourselves an out, right? I had every reason this morning to just give myself grace. Go take a hot shower instead of doing your recordings. Go lay down and take a nap. And honestly, it'd be okay if I chose that. I'm not judging. I'm not attaching meaning to it on the days that we don't. And that's the key too, is not to attach meaning to how you show up for your goals. Not to make it mean you failed if you didn't. If I did choose to lay in bed today, it would be okay. But I would then have to ask myself tomorrow, okay, now that I took a sick day, now what am I going to do just to continue to work towards that goal, to be that version of myself, right? So I also knew that part was inevitable. And I just had to ask myself the questions of, which one do I want? Do I want to lay in bed today? Or do I want to ask myself some questions on how this can be light and easy and still move me towards the goal? And one of the reasons I love my planner journal for these types of goal settings is because they don't have dates. It's like you can actually journal and write down, what would the version of you who's already achieved this, what characteristics would they take on, and what would they do? And how can you implement that into your daily decision making? And you're going to achieve the goal, or you're going to get a lot closer. And if we force, we're going to see some of those short-term wins, and that's great. But if you really want to be someone who achieves goals in the long term, and those goals start to feel easy, it's so much about the process. And I've mentioned, my quantum leap year and my event on here so much, but that event was a goal. Getting 50 people in the room was a goal. And those were very stretchy goals, right? Today's goal isn't super stretchy. It's relevant because I had to get uncomfortable in order to show up for y'all today. It's relevant, but it wasn't super stretchy. And those big stretchy goals, like my event and getting 50 people in there, I got really excited about who I was going to become to pull that off. I knew I would become a next level marketer, right? A next level event host, all these things. And I got so excited about that. And if you can find excitement and joy in taking on these new learnings and these new characteristics in order to become the person who achieves that goal, oh my gosh, it changes everything. Everything. So I want to encourage you to read the books. I loved The Miracle Morning. That has been a kind of a goal-setting, self-development book that has been really good for me. And I don't even get up earlier because I read the book. But it changed my relationship with waking up in the morning. It changed me from the inside out. And that, my friends, is how you achieve your goals. Is by really, little by little, changing from the inside out into the person you need to become to achieve that. Because if we stay the same, we get the same, right? If we stay the same, we get the same results. That's why so many people suffer from yo-yo diets, yo-yo this, inconsistencies in their business. Doing social media every single day for 6 months and then not posting for a year because they're forcing it. They're not becoming somebody different, right? And like I said, part of that is not making it mean anything. I don't think I've posted on social media in a week, right? Especially like election week. Oh my gosh. Am I avoiding? Am I following? I don't know what's happening, but I'm not making it mean that all of a sudden my business isn't consistent and isn't going to succeed. It is what it is. It's not good or bad. It's just neutral. Our successes and our failures are the same. They're a result of how we showed up. Sometimes you can show up beautifully and still not get the result you want, but you can still access that next version of yourself, right? So loose goals, but also stretchy enough that you have to access something new and learn something new and practice that in order to get closer to that goal. Goals are important. If we don't set the goal at all, I know some people that avoid goals like the plague because they don't want that feeling of failure. But having the goal is really important because you have to have the goal in order to stretch yourself and to identify what that version of you would do. Can't do that if the goal doesn't exist. Okay, that's very important. You cannot create a map if you don't have a clear destination, you're just going to walk in circles and stay the same. So you have to have the goal, my friends. You can't avoid having it. But once you have the goal, you're going to identify the gap of the version of you now and the version of you that's achieved it. And the magic in making that goal feel light and easy and fun is getting really excited about that. And you don't have to know everything. You just have to know what's next. Don't have to have the whole step-by-step formula blueprint mapped out. Just what's next. Okay. I hope that was helpful. I cannot wait to hear your feedback. And please feel free to send me all your goal setting tips, especially if they come in the form of self-development or ways of being and not necessarily in the, here's how you'll write it down every single day and get it done. Writing it down is great, but we have to also access something new about ourselves if we want to achieve something new. So good luck, my friends. I want to hear all about your goals, all about the newest versions of you, the characteristics that you're taking on, and I'll see you next week. Just a reminder, this is episode 166. You can find the show notes at elizabethhenson.co/E166. We will link up the planner in the show notes, or you can go to elizabethhenson.co/planner and order yours today. It has manifestation prompts that will ask you thought-provoking questions to help you manifest and achieve your goals, because it really is this perfect action, this perfect mix of energy and action. So thank you guys for listening. Episode 166. If this was helpful, please share it with a friend, leave us a review, and we'll see you soon.